No matter how many warriors there are, having the smart guy on the team can make all the difference.
Look, guys, I put every weapon I could think of on this crate. All the surveillance gear I could find. This is as good as it gets.
Despite being sometimes overlooked or even ridiculed.
Sir, the possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Brains are just as important as brawn.
I must admit, Panthro, I didn't think even you could do it.
Are you kidding? You're looking at the champion scrounger of the universe.
In the world of the Transformers, the Autobots can count on the verbose Autobot scientist, Perceptor.
Ultra Magnus, a cursory evaluation of Decepticon capability indicates a distinct tactical deficiency.
I'd like to thank my patrons and my channel members for your continued support. Consider becoming one, or purchase some merch. Links are in the description below. Originally released in Takara's Microchange toy line in 1984 was the MC-20 microscope figure that transformed into a simple but working microscope, able to magnify objects up to 14 times. A third mobile artillery cannon mode could be used by one of Takara's Microman figures. Hasbro imported this figure intending to release it in a mostly red deco as seen in the box art and toy catalogs. They eventually settled for a red and light blue color scheme. Since the figure was not released with an accompanying ride-on partner, his instructions repurposed the third mode as a mobile laboratory mode, releasing it in 1985 as the Autobot Perceptor.
But the Autobot scientist Perceptor is ready for anything. Introducing Perceptor. From a working microscope, he transforms into a robot.
In his bio, as written by Bob Budiansky, Perceptor is the Autobot scientist whose thirst for knowledge is unquenchable. Because of this, he is sometimes unaware of his surroundings, as he prefers to stay focused on his work. Extremely intelligent with an incredible capacity for data storage, Perceptor uses his microscope mode to study how the Autobots should best adapt to life on Earth. In addition, his lens can be used as a concentrated light beam, which allows his third mode to be used as a mobile artillery cannon. First introduced without explanation in the cartoon episode Dinobot Island Part 2, Perceptor offered his scientific expertise to Chip Chase as they investigated the origins of the time portals seen in the episode.
And if you need a true scientist to explain Beachcomber to you, don't hesitate to call on me, Perceptor.
Voiced by Paul Eiding, Perceptor's analytical insight provided valuable information for his fellow Autobots.
Not just any rock power glide, this specimen has traces of gold and silver.
Whereas Wheeljack engineered various devices such as weapons or to soup up his car mode, Perceptor's mastery in various scientific fields would provide clever solutions.
Well, anything's worth a try with some modifications to the propulsion core.
Perceptor, just do it.
This included using his lens as a light beam to travel on, modifying a toy rocket into a working spaceship, ridding the Earth of an alien plant that even ripped apart his lab, and cured the plague known as cosmic rust. While he wasn't the most proficient in battle, Perceptor spent much of his time analyzing in the lab. This didn't sit well with a tough bot like Brawn.
It takes more than muscle to fight.
Yeah, it takes courage. Or maybe that word's not in your fancy vocabulary.
However, when Megatron discovered and used the power source of the Nemesis, the heart of Cybertron, Perceptor shrunk himself, Brawn, and Bumblebee down to microscopic size to sneak inside the Decepticon leader. Despite Brawn's attitude,
Some hero. Next time, stay home.
Perceptor proved himself by removing the heart, and he used his microscope lens to accurately destroy it before it caused any damage to the Earth. In Transformers the movie, Perceptor continued to support his fellow Autobots, though his scientific vocabulary wasn't always easily understood, much to the annoyance of Ultra Magnus.
Gamma waves in this sector of space create marginal navigation probabilities. However, yes, I believe I can.
Regularly appearing throughout Season 3, Perceptor remained useful under Rodimus Prime's command, which included building a new transformation cog for Metroplex, developing a power core to produce energy on Cybertron, and figuring out how to restore Rodimus and the Autobots back into their bodies after Cobra Commander had turned them into humans.
Did you enjoy your sojourn, Rodimus?
Maybe a little too much, Perceptor. Let's go home.
In the episode The Face of Ninjaka, Perceptor's mind was temporarily transferred to a small geisha robot named Ninjaka. Thanks to his connection to it, he restored the planet Zamogen's access to the stars.
You and Ninjaka will meet again, out of the stars.
In the Japanese exclusive series, Transformers Victory, Perceptor made a final guest appearance, working alongside Minerva and Wheeljack to rebuild God Jinrai into Victory Leo. In the Marvel Comics, Perceptor was commander of an Autobot underground resistance unit back on Cybertron. His cursory evaluation of his team's depleted capabilities led him to take scientific caution, but thanks to Blaster's efforts, the Autobots regained hope. Their mission to destroy the Decepticon space bridge stranded their unit on Earth, and they eventually joined up with their fellow Autobots on the Ark. After Optimus Prime's demise, Perceptor brought together those who were capable of taking over as leader of the Autobots, and soon decided to give the task to Grimlock after the Dinobot leader displayed his courage and selflessness against Trypticon. Unfortunately, Perceptor was promoted to background character status for the rest of the comics run, which even included the UK exclusive stories. While it was confirmed after the fact, Perceptor was one of the many Transformers killed by an underbase-powered Starscream. While no further toys of Perceptor were produced during G1, a non-transforming Action Master was planned, but it never made it past the design phase. And though he wasn't seen revived during the US run of the comic like many others, he did have a supporting role in the Generation 2 comics. In 2002, a completely different version of Perceptor was introduced in Transformers Armada. Like many characters in the Unicron trilogy, the use of the name appeared to be simply done to keep up the name trademark, at least on the surface. The Armada toy was engineered by Hideaki Yoke, who was also responsible for working on the original G1 Perceptor toy, one that he considered his personal favorite. As such, Aaron Archer chose to name the Armada toy in honor of Yoke-san. Armada Perceptor is the combined form of the Minicon Street Action Team, Highwire, Grindor, and Sureshock. As the trio teamed up with the Autobots' human allies, Rad, Carlos, and Alexis, they would combine to form Perceptor to help the Autobots in the quest for the Minicons, and also acted as a leader to them as the series progressed. A new Perceptor toy was also released in Armada's sequel series, Transformers Energon, which was later redecoed in Transformers Cybertron. He only made a few brief appearances in the Energon cartoon and the Cybertron comic as well. In Transformers Animated, Perceptor was designed more in line with his G1 counterpart. In addition to a laboratory mode, Perceptor was given a third vehicle mode. Explained in his Allspark Almanac bio, Perceptor had erased his emotions to allow more room for scientific data, and as such was voiced by the same text-to-speech software used by scientist Stephen Hawking.
These are decisions that must be made by the entire council.
As head of the Autobot Ministry of Science Division on Cybertron, Perceptor was involved with various projects, such as the construction of Omega Supreme. It was during these years that the G1 version of Perceptor returned to the world of comic books. In the Dreamwave comics, Perceptor used his scientific skills to analyze various Decepticon threats, and joined his fellow Autobots to put an end to Shockwave's tyranny on Cybertron. Perceptor also made a few appearances in the various G.I. Joe vs. Transformer crossover comics as well. However, Perceptor was regularly featured in the IDW comics. At first, his scientific skill saved Cup's life, as he was assigned with producing a regular supply of Cygars for the old-timer Autobot. However, while on a rescue mission with Cup to save some of the captured wreckers, Perceptor was nearly killed by the Decepticon turmoil. While recovering from his injuries, Perceptor upgraded his body to be more useful in battle, with a stronger breastplate, stabilizers that improve his aim, and a targeting monocle. As such, Perceptor assisted his fellow Autobots from afar as a sharpshooting sniper, This cold outlook on life as a member of the Wreckers didn't stick with Perceptor forever though. Joining the Lost Light crew, Perceptor was once again putting his scientific skills to use in their quest to find the Lost Knights of Cybertron. His analytical approach to situations and patience were often tested as Perceptor dealt with his new lab partner, Brainstorm. Ignoring both the UK and G2 comics, the Regeneration 1 comics continue the stories of the Marvel comics, and Perceptor was once again seen in the lab. When Scorponok began manipulating the Autobots using a gene key, Grimlock employed Perceptor to undo the Decepticon plot from the inside, freeing the Autobots from Scorponok's control. In 2005, Perceptor's G1 toy was reissued in Japan. eHobby would then release Perceptor's toy in his microchange colors as a new Decepticon character named Magnificus. A military outcast with incredible fighting skill, Magnificus teamed up with an alien outcast named Gami as they plotted revenge on those who betrayed them. Trying to move on from a microscope mode, a new Perceptor figure was released in 2006 as a redeco of Legends class Cybertron Red Alert that transformed into a missile truck. While animated Perceptor did not receive a new toy, his design served as inspiration for a new G1 Perceptor in 2010 that transformed into a scientific expedition vehicle. This figure was also recolored as Magnificus by eHobby, and the accompanying manga showcased him and Gamid dispatching a Decepticon bounty hunter before being hired by another group of Decepticons. In the aligned continuity and voiced by Jim Ward, Perceptor briefly appeared in the Fall of Cybertron video game, putting his skills to work as preparations for the Ark launch were made.
Nearly finished, Optimus. My team will have all systems powered off and archived by the time we launch. Good.
This version of the character was not seen again for many years, until Rescue Bots Academy, voiced by Jeremy Levy. Perceptor joined the Academy as instructor of science and math.
Thanks to molecular compression, certain Cybertronians can become objects much smaller than their bot mode would seem to allow.
Perceptor returned to his classic roots in 2017's Titans Return toy line. Transforming once again into a working microscope, Perceptor came packaged with the Titan Master Convex, who could pilot Perceptor in his mobile artillery vehicle mode in addition to transforming into Perceptor's head. As seen in the Prime Wars Trilogy cartoon and voiced by Will Wheaton,
If you're delaying Tripticon, that must mean you have some plan you need time to enact.
Perceptor was charged by Optimus Prime with protecting the Matrix of Leadership, as Tripticon attacks Cybertron. However, he soon realized that it was the key to defeating the Decepticon Titan.
The Matrix of Leadership. Its power can only be accessed by the Chosen.
Which is what we were counting on.
We?
Continuing to assist Windblade, Megatron, and others in Power of the Primes, Perceptor deduced how to stop the tyrannical Megatronus from using ancient Cybertronian artifacts and bring peace back to Cybertron. With a design drawing heavy inspiration from the IDW comics, Perceptor's meticulous skills were brought into the world of Transformers Cyberverse. Voiced by Jeremy Levy, Perceptor helped Chromia escape from the Decepticons at the cost of his eyes.
I didn't know if it would work. Also, it burnt out my optics. I can no longer see.
Discovering that there were other ways to see, Perceptor was instrumental in taking down the Quintessons. After McAdam sacrificed himself, Perceptor took over his old oil house, serving Energon as a bartender. As part of Studio Series 86, Perceptor received a new figure to faithfully recreate his animation model seen in Transformers the movie. Like previous figures of G1 Perceptor, he could still transform into his mobile cannon mode. The figure was also redecoed as Magnificus that same year as a Generation Selects exclusive. Bringing it back to where it all started, Perceptor's G1 toy was also re-released in cartoon-accurate colors in 2023 as part of the Walmart-exclusive Transformers Retro line. Despite his extensive vocabulary and tendency to be reserved to his work instead of combat, Perceptor's dedication and scientific knowledge have made him invaluable to the Autobot cause.
If I didn't fuss with chips, you couldn't crush Decepticons.
With his jovial attitude and eagerness to ensure the Autobots' survival, you can always count on him to try to find the best solution possible.
Tremendous! It works!
Perceptor's memorable role as the Autobot scientific expert in various Transformers series continue to show that intelligence is just as necessary as might.
The pen is mightier than the staff, Soundwave!
But what do you think? Has Perceptor earned his place among the Autobot ranks? And what is your favorite version of the character? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like this video, be sure to thumbs up and subscribe. I have many more Transformers videos like this coming soon, so stay tuned. And as always, until next time, till all are one.
Unfortunately, that's probably true. I just wish all the Dinobots had more sophisticated brains.
Brains? Grimlock know how to bash brains. Maybe bash yours.